The first missile wouldn't be seen, it would be heard. A distant roar slicing across cold air over dark water. And by the time radar screens lit up, it would already be too late. The Black Sea, calm and ancient, could transform into the most dangerous battlefield on Earth in a matter of minutes. If you want to understand how wars at sea are really decided, not by headlines but by steel, strategy, and silence, make sure you're subscribed to Sea Warfare Explained. Because tonight, we step into a scenario that military planners quietly rehearse but never publicly discuss. NATO versus Russia. 1C. One question: who controls the Black Sea? At first glance, the Black Sea seems small compared to the vast Pacific or the endless Atlantic. But size is deceiving. This body of water is a locked arena bordered by Russia, Ukraine, Turkey, Romania, Bulgaria, and Georgia. Only one narrow gateway connects it to the Mediterranean, the Bosporus Strait, controlled by Turkey. That single choke point makes the Black Sea both a fortress and a trap. Russia understands this better than anyone. For Moscow, the Black Sea is not optional, it is survival. Through it flows access to warm water ports, to the Mediterranean, to the Middle East. At its heart lies Sevastopol, the historic home of Russia's Black Sea Fleet. When Russia annexed Crimea in 2014, it wasn't just land they secured. It was naval dominance, or at least the foundation of it. But dominance in modern naval warfare is not about who has more ships anchored at port. It's about who controls the air above, the seabed below, and the invisible electromagnetic spectrum in between. Russia's Black Sea Fleet is built around missile power, frigates armed with caliber cruise missiles, submarines that can fire from beneath silent waters, coastal defense systems like Bastion and Bal batteries placed along Crimea's coastline capable of striking ships hundreds of kilometers away. Layered above this is a network of air defenses, S-400 systems that can track and engage aircraft far beyond the horizon. On paper, it looks like an anti-access fortress, a bubble designed to keep NATO out. But paper wars are easy. Real ones are messy, because NATO doesn't approach the Black Sea as a single navy. It approaches as an alliance. Romania and Bulgaria bring regional fleets. Turkey, with one of the largest and most capable navies in the alliance, controls the straits. And beyond the Black Sea itself, NATO air power from bases in Europe can project force deep into the region within hours. And here's the critical twist. Aircraft may matter more than ships. In a full-scale confrontation, the side that controls the skies will shape the sea. NATO's F-35 stealth fighters operating from European air bases or carriers in the Mediterranean could target Russian radar systems and missile batteries before ships even enter range. Long-range precision weapons launched from hundreds of kilometers away could turn coastal defenses into burning debris before Russian vessels ever see their enemy. But Russia would not wait passively. Its strategy would likely focus on denying access. Submarines lurking beneath the Black Sea could target NATO surface ships. Mines could be deployed to restrict movement. Electronic warfare systems would attempt to blind satellites, jam communications, and disrupt guidance systems. The first hours of conflict would be a battle of sensors, radar versus stealth, signal versus silence. And in that chaos, confusion becomes a weapon. Imagine a NATO destroyer entering the western Black Sea. Radar sweeps the horizon, electronic systems hum. Suddenly, multiple signals appear, some real, some false. Is that a missile launch or a decoy? Seconds matter. A wrong decision could mean losing $1 billion warship and hundreds of lives. This is the tension modern naval warfare thrives on. Not broadside cannons, but invisible duels. Yet geography refuses to be ignored. Unlike open oceans, the Black Sea is confined. There is little room to maneuver. Ships cannot simply disappear over the horizon. Satellite surveillance constantly watches. Land-based missiles can reach almost any point. In such an environment, large surface fleets become vulnerable. The sea itself becomes a killing zone. This reality was already hinted at when Ukraine, without a traditional navy, managed to inflict serious damage on Russian vessels using drones and anti-ship missiles. If smaller asymmetric forces can challenge a regional power, what could a coordinated NATO strike achieve? But here is the uncomfortable truth. NATO does not permanently station large combat forces inside the Black Sea. The Montreux Convention limits how long non-Black Sea navies can remain. Turkey enforces these rules strictly. In wartime, the straits could close entirely. That means timing is everything. If conflict erupted suddenly, Russia would initially hold the advantage of proximity. Its ships are already there, its missile batteries are already deployed, its supply lines are shorter. NATO would need rapid coordination, political unity, and swift deployment to counterbalance that head start. And unity is not automatic. NATO is powerful bigger. Use it is collective, but it is also complex. Decisions require consensus. In a fast moving naval war, hesitation can be fatal. Would every member respond instantly, or would political debates delay action while missiles fly? Russia, on the other hand, operates under centralized command. Orders move quickly, forces react as one. But centralized command carries its own risk: rigidity. NATO doctrine emphasizes flexibility, decentralized decision making, and joint operations across air, sea, cyber, and space. In a prolonged conflict, that adaptability could erode Russia's initial defensive bubble. Then there is Turkey. Turkey sits at the crossroads of this entire equation. It commands the gateway to the Black Sea and fields a capable navy with modern submarines and advanced surface ships. Its choices would heavily shape the outcome. Would it fully align with NATO operations? Would it act as mediator? Or would it prioritize control of its own waters above all? In the end, control of the Black Sea may not mean occupying every inch of water. It may mean denying the other side freedom of movement, making the sea too dangerous to operate in, turning it into contested space rather than controlled territory. And in that scenario, nobody truly wins. Oil shipments halt, trade routes freeze, coastal cities become targets. Civilian infrastructure sits within range of naval cruise missiles. What begins as a naval duel spills onto land, into airspace, into cyberspace. Because modern naval war is never just about ships, it is about pressure. Psychological pressure, economic pressure, strategic pressure. The Black Sea would become a stage where both sides test resolve. A damaged flagship here, a downed aircraft there. Each incident escalating the risk, each miscalculation bringing nuclear armed powers closer to a line no one wants to cross. So who controls the Black Sea? In peacetime, Russia holds the strongest physical presence. Its fleet, its bases, its missile systems form a layered shield. But in full-scale war, control would shift hour by hour. Air superiority could tip the balance toward NATO, coastal defenses could lock it back toward Russia, submarines could silently redraw the map overnight, political decisions in Ankara could change everything in a single announcement. Control would not be permanent. It would be contested, fought for in radar shadows and underwater silence. And perhaps that is the most important truth: the Black Sea is not a prize that can be safely claimed. It is a pressure point in a fragile world order, a narrow body of water holding enormous consequences. The sea has witnessed empires rise and fall along its shores. Ottoman fleets, Russian Tsars, Soviet admirals, now it waits again, quiet, dark, patient. Because if NATO and Russia ever truly collide here, the world will not just be watching a naval war, it will be watching the balance of power itself shift with every missile trail across the sky. And in the Black Sea, control is never absolute. It is earned and lost in waves,